My husband's closest female friend used my ID for a medical exam and tested positive for AIDS. Just as I was wondering how to tell my husband, his closest female friend sent me an intimate photo of them in bed. Grace, see this? Kevin loves me the most. I merely sneered back, I wish you both a happy sex life. Then I resolutely crumpled the medical report, moved out, and filed for divorce. All that lovey-dovey business, they'll finally settle down now that they've tested positive for AIDS. At the hospital, I stared at the AIDS positive test results, lost in thought. The attending doctor, Dr. Evans, perhaps noticing my pale face, offered a word of comfort. It's okay, you're still young, and you caught it early. You just need to keep taking your medication. Go downstairs to the first floor to pick up your prescription. I silently took the prescription slip. He didn't know that I wasn't the one who had AIDS. It was my husband's closest female friend, Jessie. 3 days prior, I had accompanied my husband to the hospital for a medical checkup. We had barely left our residential complex when we ran into Jessie. Upon learning we were going to the hospital, Jessie insisted on joining us. Hey, I haven't been feeling well lately, always catching colds. Why don't I come with you? Before I could even speak, my husband, Kevin, immediately agreed. Sure, let's go together. With that, there wasn't much more I could say. Once we arrived at the hospital, Jessie slapped her forehead. Oh, I forgot my ID. She grabbed my arm, pleading in a spoiled way. Grace, could you use your ID to help me get a lab request form? I didn't answer right away. To be honest, Jessie and I weren't very close. Her request felt out of line to me. Jessie noticed my reluctance, and her expression immediately changed. She flung my hand away, anger flashing in her eyes. What's the big deal about lending your ID? Why are you being so petty? I rarely argued with people. Her sudden outburst left me a bit stunned. Before I could think of what to say, I saw her complaining to Kevin. Kevin, control your wife. Why is she so petty? It's just lending her ID for a checkup, what's her problem? Do you think she has an issue with me? This is annoying. I hate dealing with women, they're always so fussy. Alright, it's nothing, don't be mad. Kevin, while calming her down, looked at me. 2 years of marriage. I instantly understood his gaze. He was blaming me for being unreasonable. He wanted me to put up with it. In the end, I silently took out my ID and got a lab request form for Jessie. But to my shock, Jessie tested positive for AIDS. After leaving the hospital, I sent Kevin a message. Come home early tonight, I need to talk to you about something. Jessie and Kevin grew up together. As often said, they shared an unbreakable bond of friendship, having engaged in childhood mischief and adventures together. Besides them, 2 other men also grew up playing with them. I often heard Kevin talk about this small group, so I knew how important Jessie was to him. So, the entire way home, I was racking my brain, trying to figure out how to gently tell Kevin about Jessie's AIDS diagnosis. Once I got home, Kevin hadn't replied to my message, so I gave him a phone call. No answer. I dialed again. Why wasn't he picking up? He always answered my calls immediately before. After a minute of ringing, the phone connected. Hello? Honey? What's up? Noisy, chaotic sounds came through the line, and the words I was about to say changed course. Where are you? Why is it so loud? Out having fun. I'm going to the restroom, what's up? Kevin started walking away, but before long, Jessie called out to him. What's wrong? Did that old woman of yours call you again? That old woman? I immediately flared up. I might be a few years older than Kevin, but that doesn't mean I deserve to be called that old woman. What nonsense are you talking? Kevin reprimanded her, but unexpected delay, Jessie snatched the phone. Hey, Kevin's with us. We're all having a good time drinking, so don't spoil the fun by telling him to come home. Besides, he was away from Northwood for so long when he was pursuing you. Now that he's finally back, shouldn't he be allowed to hang out with us guys? And what's the rush with just a few of us? You women are always so high maintenance. Don't worry, Kevin won't get into trouble. I'll even send you a video later, okay? In just a few words, Jessie painted me as an unreasonable and demanding woman. Thinking she was sick, I decided not to argue with her, suppressing the anger in my heart. I struggled to speak calmly. Let's answer the phone. Jessie scoffed disdainfully, then tossed the phone to Kevin. Your wife wants you. What's she so proud of? Just because she got married? Spending all day revolving around a man, doesn't she have a life of her own? Can't he go out and have fun just because he's married? Might as well not have gotten married. Kevin used to be so free, look at him now, controlled by his wife like a dog. Haha, exactly. I'm never getting married. The group's jeers came through. Jesse and the others chatted unrestrainedly, completely unconcerned that Kevin and I were still on the phone. Kevin's voice was tinged with panic. "Honey, they're drunk and talking nonsense, don't take it to heart. I'll talk to you later, we can discuss it when I get home." Then, Kevin hastily hung up the call. I had a knot of frustration stuck in my throat, unable to express it or swallow it. Kevin's small group consisted of 3 men and 1 woman. Him, Jesse. Of the remaining 2, one had been married for 3 years and had a 2-year-old child. The other was a staunch anti-marriage type, only wanting to enjoy life. In the past, Kevin had mentioned his small group to me countless times. He talked about how strong their bond was, and shared anecdotes from their childhood together. He even said that when he had the chance to return to Northwood, he would introduce me to them. I thought they would be easy to get along with, especially Jessie. Kevin had described her as an unfussy and straightforward woman. Yet, I never imagined she would be so aggressive. After a while, I started to comfort myself again. "It's okay, Kevin and I will be back on Palm in a while. I'm a teacher at Palm University, and Kevin is a graduate student there. He took my elective course. After the course ended, he started pursuing me relentlessly. It took a whole year before I finally agreed to be with him. Once we were together, he treated me even better than before, even staying on Palm for me. We settled down and got married here. 3 whole years passed. A month ago, Mrs. Davis was in a car accident, breaking her leg, with no one to care for her. When heard the news, his eyes reddened with urgency, and the next day he returned to Northwood alone. I hadn't started my summer break yet, but after finishing my work at school, I immediately rushed back as well. We tirelessly cared for Mrs. Davis for a month, and her condition gradually improved. After this summer break, Kevin and I could return to Palm. My phone buzzed with a new WhatsApp message. I tapped it open and saw it was a video from Jessie. Inside a bar, under the multicolored lights, she had her arm around Kevin's shoulder, leaning completely against him. "Grace, see? We're just out having some fun, what's the big deal? We used to hang out like this even before you and Kevin were together. Just because he's married doesn't mean my pal has to stay cooped up at home, right? Be more generous." My anger flared. I zoomed in on the video, my gaze fixed on Kevin. He was smiling as he drank, as if Jessie's actions were completely normal to him. I'll settle this with him when he gets back. Furious, I threw my phone onto the couch and got up to take a shower. The moment the hot water hit my skin, I suddenly remembered something. Jessie has AIDS, and she and Kevin were so close. Who knows, after drinking, they might go out to eat or do something else. It sent shivers down my spine. Realizing this, I immediately wrapped myself in a bath towel, grabbed my phone, and sent Kevin a message. "Stay away from Jessie. There are only 3 ways AIDS can be transmitted: mother to child, blood, and sexual contact." I'd never heard Kevin say she had AIDS. So, there was only one possibility left. She had a promiscuous private life. And, perhaps, didn't even know she had AIDS. Their intimate gestures haunted me. Actually, I didn't really know much about Kevin's social circle. We had always lived on Palm. Usually, he'd just go fishing or grab drinks with his classmates. When people start to doubt, they always overthink things. I pulled out Kevin's lab request form, and after confirming he was negative, I slowly exhaled. Health was most important. Everything else was secondary. Kevin didn't come home until 2 or 3 in the morning. I was napping on the couch and groggily opened my eyes when I heard the commotion. "You're back. I need to talk to you about something. Last time Jessie borrowed my ID for a checkup, Grace." Kevin suddenly interrupted me. I looked at his gloomy expression, and anger flared in me too. Jessie said those things about me, he didn't apologize, came home so late, and now he's giving me attitude? I also hardened my expression. "Are you crazy? What's with this sudden temper tantrum?" Kevin frowned and argued with me. "What was the meaning of that message you sent? What do you mean, stay away from Jessie? She's my friend. Did you even consider my feelings when you sent that message? Do you really have so little faith in our relationship? Grace, I've noticed you've been stirring up trouble ever since we got back to Northwood. You need to reflect on yourself." "Reflect on what? What do I have to reflect on? I was at home taking care of your mother with the broken leg, and you go out partying until midnight, then come home and give me attitude? Why don't you reflect on yourself?" Kevin walked towards the bathroom. I was too angry to let it go, so I followed him, still arguing. "Damn it. I'm trying to give you a kind warning, and it's still not good enough? Do you even know Jessie is sick?" Smash. Kevin mercilessly slammed the door shut. His angry voice came from inside the bathroom. I think you're the one who's sick. You're married to me, why are you keeping such a clear division? Isn't my mom your mom too? With a click, Kevin locked the bathroom door. My eyes welled up with a sense of injustice, and I angrily kicked the bathroom door. Then I got into bed to rest. I had no desire to communicate with Kevin anymore. Half an hour later, the side of the bed dipped, and Kevin's hand touched my waist. I had my back to him and pushed his hand away. He shamelessly insisted on coming closer again. He said in a low, pleading voice, "Honey, I was wrong. I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have been so harsh just now." "Oh, right, you said Jessie was sick earlier. What kind of sickness?" I was easily appeased. Every time I was mad at Kevin, as soon as he gave me an opening, I'd take it. Especially since there was important business to discuss today. I turned over, and just as I was about to speak, I unexpectedly saw a red mark on Kevin's neck. Instantly, I felt a chill run through me. I spoke up to question him. "What's this? Where did that hickey come from?" Kevin's expression didn't change. "Oh, Jessie had Chad kiss me there. She saw the message you sent me, got mad, and insisted on making you angry too. It's nothing, honey, don't overthink it. Besides, this whole thing was your fault to begin with. Jessie saw the message and she got furious. You need to go apologize to her tomorrow." I grew angrier with every word, and raised my hand to slap him across the face. "Apologize for what? Are you out of your mind? Get out." After I hit him, Kevin lost his temper too. He cursed angrily and turned his back on me. And just like that, we gave each other the silent treatment all night long. The next day, Kevin still didn't initiate a conversation with me. I wasn't feeling good. I had nightmares all night, full of dense, crimson blood cells surging towards me. A wave of fear washed over me after waking up, so I decided to go to the hospital and get tested today. While waiting for the lab report, I was incredibly restless. So I simply bought an at-home STD test kit online. When I went to the clinic lobby to pick up some takeout, I unexpectedly saw Kevin and Jessie. Kevin was still angry. He didn't greet me when he saw me, turning his head away. Jessie, on the other hand, waved in an overly familiar way. "Hey, Grace! What a coincidence, you're at the hospital too." I originally wanted to leave. But hearing her, I had no choice but to stop, offering an awkward smile to the two of them. "Yeah." As I spoke, Jessie pulled Kevin over to me. "Grace, Kevin asked me to come to the hospital with him yesterday to pick up his lab report. I thought you were busy with work and didn't have time to come. Why didn't he call you?" Jessie said this with a smile, feigning innocence. My face instantly darkened. It turned out Jessie hadn't called out to me to catch up, but to deliberately provoke me. Since that was the case, I didn't need to be polite anymore. Isn't it because he's out fooling around with shady characters and won't even know if he gets sick? People really need to take care of their bodies when they're out. There are so many promiscuous people these days. What if they catch AIDS or syphilis? Then their life is over, right? My words had an underlying meaning. Kevin and Jessie clearly understood my implications. Their faces darkened, looking utterly humiliated. My suppressed anger finally found an outlet. Clutching my bag, I took a step forward, staring at Jessie as I warned her. "Jessie, we're both women. You and Kevin can be you guys, but you can't use the excuse of being friends to do disgusting things." Before I could finish speaking, Kevin raised his hand and slapped me. I stared at Kevin, my eyes wide with disbelief. "You dared to hit me?" Out of the corner of my eye, Jessie's lips curved into a malicious smile. "Good hit. If he doesn't hit you, you won't be able to control your mouth. Grace, what makes you think you're so great? How dare you mess with me? Let me tell you, in Kevin's heart, I'm far more important than you." I ignored Jessie flaunting her arrogance. I just stared fixedly at Kevin, unable to stop the growing disappointment in my heart. At first, Kevin seemed a bit at a loss. But after Jessie spoke, he seemed to find his courage, looking at me disdainfully. "Go home. I'll deal with you later." I gritted my teeth and roared. "You dared to hit me. Kevin, have you forgotten what you promised me? I was originally against marriage. I only agreed to marry Kevin after he persistently and shamelessly pursued me. Now, he actually laid a hand on me for Jessie." My fury surged, and I said directly to him, "Divorce." Kevin seemed not to have expected me to directly propose divorce. He was stunned for a moment and then countered, "What?" My cheek was throbbing and numb. My ears were still ringing. In my extreme anger, I actually regained my composure, saying word by word. I said, "I want a divorce from you." Realizing I wasn't joking, Kevin's face instantly went pale. Panic and regret flashed in his eyes, and he softened his tone as he reached for my hand. Honey, I was just in a fit of rage and accidentally, as he spoke, Kevin took my hand and hit his own face with it. If it's really that bad, hit me. Hit me. As long as you cool down, you can hit me as many times as you want. Before I could react, Jessie grew anxious. With a pained expression, she slapped my hand away, covered Kevin's face, and complained. Are you stupid? So what if you hit her? What's she going to do? Is she going to divorce you just because she said so? She's at that age. Where would she find a man as good as you if she divorced you? I bet she's just trying to scare you. Does it hurt? Let me blow on it. Just like that, Jessie, in front of everyone, and right in front of me. Cup's face in her hands, tenderly blowing and rubbing it. Anyone who didn't know better would have thought they were the couple. I gradually became numb, watching their actions indifferently. Kevin glanced at me in a panic but didn't push Jessie away. He looked at me several more times, and his expression grew increasingly confident. You're right. Where would she find someone as good as me if she left me? She's definitely just throwing a tantrum. I was so angry, I actually laughed. If so great, then he's all yours. Jessie, I wish you both a long and happy marriage. With those words, I no longer cared what the two of them did. I walked straight away. On the second-floor lobby, I sent Emily a message, asking her to draft a divorce agreement. After discussing the property details, I sat alone in the hallway, quietly contemplating. My original family wasn't very good. Mr. Vance was abusive, and Mrs. Vance couldn't take it anymore and ran away when I was 15. I haven't seen her since. Without Vance, I became the one who got beaten. I always suffered in silence, until my senior year of high school, when Mr. Vance tried to sell me off for money for his brother's education. Left with no choice, I also ran away. I worked part-time and studied, finishing my senior year of high school. During that time, I saw studying as my only light, and thankfully, I got into a good university. In life, only studying made me feel alive. So I went on to get my master's and PhD, and by the time I graduated and started working, I was 30 years old. I didn't plan to get married or have children. I thought my life would pass by uneventfully like this, until I was 32, when I met 25-year-old Kevin. He was a second-year graduate student at our university. When I taught his class, I noticed that Kevin always liked to chat with me, randomly brought me bubble tea and cake, and enjoyed sending me flowers on holidays. It wasn't until the end of the semester, when he was graduating, that he confessed his feelings to me. I was a bit at a loss and fled in a panic. I had once yearned for love, but Mr. Vance's furious face lingered stubbornly in my mind. So I fell into a state of indecision and hesitation, but was passionate and proactive. He wasn't discouraged by rejection and pursued me for a very long time. Eventually, I was moved by him. On the day we officially became a couple, he bought me gifts, flowers, and even wrote me a handwritten letter. He said that even though he was younger than me, he would take responsibility, cherish me, and protect me. When we got married, he said he would take care of my life from then on. But just now, he slapped me. I wiped away my tears with a bitter smile. With domestic abuse, it's either never or it never stops. Even if his eyes were once full of me, even if he once cherished me like a precious gem, I couldn't waver. Grace, the test results are in. Seeing the negative result on the report slip, I let out a huge sigh of relief. Thank goodness I didn't get infected. Kevin arrived home before me. He was sitting in front of the sofa, with a bouquet of flowers and my favorite takeout platter on the coffee table. Honey. Seeing me, Kevin smiled and came over. Looking at his familiar face, I felt no ripple of emotion. I sidestepped him. When are you free to schedule the divorce? We can use this cooling off period to sort out the asset division. Kevin's expression stiffened. He shamelessly stuck to me again. Are you still mad at me? Let's not get divorced, please? It's all my fault, hit me. Clearly, Kevin didn't realize the gravity of the situation. He still thought I was just angry like before, and a little coaxing would fix everything. In the prolonged silence, Kevin finally realized a fact. His face hardened. You're really going to divorce me? After running around all day, I was a bit hungry. I unwrapped the package on the table, picked up a braised wing, and put it in my mouth. I said calmly, yes. Kevin exploded. He stood up abruptly. Frowning deeply, his face turned beet red as he roared at me. Just because I slapped you, you want a divorce? Grace, you're 35 years old, not a young girl anymore. How can you still be so impulsive? Who would marry you if you leave me? Do you have another man? Facing his suspicion and doubt, I sneered. Yes, exactly because you slapped me, I'm divorcing you. I'm not being impulsive. There's no other man. I just want to divorce you. I spoke these words, one by one. I thought I was being perfectly rational, but tears of disappointment streamed down my face, one by one. In that moment, I even hated the man standing before me. I hated his lack of boundaries and discretion. I hated him for being entangled with Jessie. And I hated him most for personally destroying my marriage and my love. Kevin froze in place. He didn't understand why one slap would make me go to such lengths. But he would never understand. Domestic abuse was my bottom line. Forget a slap, even a punch or a shove would make me reevaluate my marriage to him. What's more, there was also Jessie standing between us. Kevin still couldn't believe it. He spoke dejectedly. Just because of one slap? Grace, if you hadn't run your mouth, I wouldn't have hit you. Is our relationship really so fragile? Grace, do you even truly love me? Why won't you forgive me? Why do you insist on a divorce? Stop messing around. I didn't answer him, just quietly ate my food. Then, without a word, I went back to the bedroom. I took out the bedding from the closet. I looked at Kevin, slumped dejectedly on the sofa. Let's sleep in separate rooms for a while. Think about it. Kevin's hopeful eyes gradually dimmed. That night, I uncharacteristically suffered from insomnia, tossing and turning in bed, unable to sleep. Just thinking about being in the same house as such a man, thinking about having to share a room with him, made my skin crawl with overwhelming nausea. So I decided to go all the way, got up to pack my suitcase, and prepared to fly back to Palm that very night. Fortunately, the house on Palm was one I had bought before we got married. After packing my suitcase, I hesitated repeatedly but still placed the test results on the nightstand in the master bedroom. Kevin wasn't home, he was probably out again. I sighed, and just as I was about to leave, my phone, which had been off, lit up. A new WhatsApp message popped up. It was Jessie. She had sent 6 images and videos in a row. It was 3:30 in the morning. A bad feeling rose within me. Filled with doubt, I opened my phone. I tapped on the chat history. And then I saw photos of them lying side by side, naked, on a hotel bed. My heart thumped and sank to my stomach. I trembled with rage, my vision blurring. Jessie was still gloating. She sent a string of voice messages, her voice hoarse. Grace, see this? My boy Kevin loves me, so why are you being so dramatic and putting on an act? Anything you can give him, I can give him too. We're both women, I don't know why you have to be so difficult all the time. You're driving me crazy. I'm telling you, stop being so nosy, otherwise I'll make Kevin cheat on you again. I'll make sure Kevin doesn't come home. Try me if you don't believe it. I sneered, no need to try. I wish you both happiness. With that, I grabbed my suitcase and left. Before long, I was at the airport, about to go through boarding pass check. I opened my phone again, rewatched the videos and images Jessie had sent, and saved them one by one, including her voice messages. I couldn't just let that despicable pair off so easily. Why should Jessie get to come out on top? And why should those who hurt me flaunt their triumph? Jessie's smiling face seemed to appear before my eyes. After the divorce, they definitely wouldn't think it was their fault. They might even get married. At that point, Jessie would surely freely spread rumors about me, pushing all the blame onto me. Just like this time, when she took photos of herself sleeping with Kevin and sent them to me. She didn't think what she did was wrong. She thought she was warning me. As long as I was unhappy, she would be happy. But why should I be defeated? Why should I make a shameful exit? What good outcome could come from having AIDS? Perhaps fate was on my side. Then I couldn't back down. I would stand firm in this marriage, watching that despicable pair barely surviving and clinging to life. I grew increasingly calm. In just 10 minutes, I had formulated my revenge plan. I tossed the airplane ticket into the trash, pulled my suitcase, and returned to Kevin's house. First, I picked up the test results from the nightstand, tore them into pieces, and flushed them down the toilet. Then I found all the bank cards in the house and began liquidating the assets. Finally, I contacted Emily and sent her the evidence of Kevin's infidelity. My claim was divorce, along with getting the maximum possible share of the marital assets. Preferably leaving nothing for Kevin. Kevin and I tacitly chose the silent treatment. It was as if we were in a standoff, neither willing to acknowledge the other. During this time, he went out fooling around every day, and my phone received photos and videos of Jessie from various angles daily. I wasn't idle either. Every time I got angry, I'd transfer some assets out. Soon, the house was financially drained. I figured I'd file for legal action once the assets were fully transferred. Until one day, I came home from outside and unexpectedly saw Jessie wearing my clothes. She looked like she had just showered, her wet hair draped over her shoulders. Oh, Gr. Ace is back. Kevin, do you think she'll be mad that I'm wearing her clothes? Kevin glanced at me indifferently. I bought all her clothes, ignore her. We're getting divorced anyway, what's there to be angry about? My face instantly darkened. What are you two doing? Who told you to wear my clothes? Jessie crossed her arms and sauntered nonchalantly towards me. Didn't you say you wanted a divorce? Why are you still clinging to Kevin's house and not leaving? You ask what we're doing? A man and a woman alone in a room, what do you think we're doing? Ah. I couldn't listen anymore. I raised my hand and slapped Jessie hard. She let out a scream. Before she could react, I slapped her again. Enough was enough. Jessie had repeatedly provoked and insulted me. I couldn't stand it anymore. Soon, Jessie and I were fighting. Although I usually appeared quiet, I had a habit of working out regularly. Jessie, who spent her days bar hopping and heavy drinking, was no match for me and was soon screaming continuously from my blows. Kevin froze in place for a moment, and it was a while before he came over to pull me away, shouting, "Grace, stop hitting her. Calm down." But I couldn't calm down. No one could stay calm after being bullied and insulted like this. Just looking at Kevin made me furious. I grabbed the vase from the cabinet and smashed it hard on Kevin's head. Smash! The vase shattered on the floor. Kevin's forehead had a gaping wound, gushing blood. He grimaced in pain and clutched his wound. "You're crazy." And I just stared at him chillingly. Yes, I am crazy. Kevin, you and Jessie drove me crazy. Raising my hand, I pointed the broken vase at him. Kevin, you'd better divorce me as soon as possible, or else. I'll hit you every time I see you. Perhaps my appearance was too terrifying. Not long after, Kevin agreed to divorce me. During the cooling off period, Kevin noticed the unequal distribution of assets. I simply pulled out the videos of him and Jessie, threw them in front of him, and threatened him coldly. "If you don't want everyone to know, then just put up with it." Kevin roared, "You hired someone to secretly film me." I didn't want to talk much to him, so I didn't tell him that Jessie had sent me the videos. Kevin was also a teacher. For teachers, character is paramount. Once these videos got out, his career would be over. Thus, he had no choice but to silently swallow this bitter pill. Having acquired all the marital assets, rid myself of Kevin, and even given them both a good beating before I left, I let out a huge sigh of relief, then took my divorce papers and returned to Palm. On the first day of the semester, I was swamped. After getting home from work that evening, I received a barrage of messages from Kevin. "Grace, I originally thought you were a reasonable and loyal person, but now I realize I completely misjudged you. 3 years of marriage, and I still couldn't see through your true character. Consider these 3 years a waste, for your sake. I can tell you clearly, you will regret this. From now on, no one will ever love you as much as I did. Don't come crawling back to me then, begging to reconcile." Reconcile? Kevin can dream on. I raised my hand and scrolled through the messages, a cold, mocking smile on my lips. Ever since the divorce, that pair constantly bothered me. One would send me intimate photos of the two of them, flaunting their love. The other would rant endlessly, fantasizing about me sobbing and weeping, begging for his forgiveness. But I just found it amusing. Ha, a pair of clowns. All their lovey-dovey business, they'll finally settle down now that they've tested positive for AIDS. On New Year's Day, as I was curled up at home eating takeout comfort food, Mrs. Davis called. She was sobbing uncontrollably, crying and cursing. "You bitch. How dare you infect my son with your dirty disease? What are we going to do now, my poor son? My son and his wife have both been infected by you with that dirty disease, you vile woman. I wish I could stab you to death, boo-hoo-hoo." I held the phone away from my ear. I said, amused, "Oh really? When are they going to die? I'll make sure to mark their passing." Mrs. Davis's sobbing paused, and then she started cursing again. I mercilessly hung up the call. She was a very spiteful and harsh woman. When she first broke her leg and I was caring for her, she nitpicked endlessly, but it was still bearable. Later, when things escalated to the divorce, Mrs. Davis had violently struck me on my back and legs with her cane. She cursed as she hit me, her eyes bulging, looking like something out of a horror movie, as if she wanted to devour me alive. It was only then that I truly understood what an evil mother-in-law was. But thankfully, it was all in the past. The next day, I bought a plane ticket to Northwood. That despicable pair was in trouble. How could I not go visit? On the way, I contacted our mutual friends and learned from them. Kevin had been sick for a long time. He went to the hospital for a checkup and tested positive for AIDS. But he didn't believe it. He cursed and complained at the hospital, insisting that the equipment was faulty and demanding another test. He got tested again, and the result was the same. Kevin still wouldn't give up and went to a different hospital. The result hadn't changed at all. Positive. He had AIDS. When the third result came out, Kevin refused to face reality, squatting in the hospital and crying uncontrollably, burying his face in his hands. Jessie's face turned ashen, and she hastily went to get tested as well. The moment her results came out, Jessie completely broke down on the spot. She grabbed her bag and kept hitting Kevin with it, cursing, "It's all your fault. It's all your fault. You made me catch this disease too. What am I going to do now? I'm only 27. How could I have AIDS? Were you out fooling around behind my back? Kevin, you've ruined my life." As she cried, Jessie suddenly said, "Did divorce you because of this? Did she have AIDS and wanted to infect you and me?" I was speechless when I heard this theory. Shifting the blame was something she was an expert at. She was better at it than anyone. Neither of them believed their illness was their own fault, so they both pointed the finger at me. Phone calls, messages. They found various ways to insult me. Naturally, I wasn't willing to take the fall for this. Carrying a fruit basket, I went to the hospital. As luck would have it, they were sharing the same hospital room. "You bitch. How dare you show your face here?" Jessie was the first to see me. She shot up from her bed, her eyes practically spitting fire at me. Kevin was the same. I figured if they weren't on 4 drips, they would have gotten out of bed and beaten me senseless long ago. But what had I done wrong? Of course I'm here. If I hadn't come, how would I have seen you two in such a pathetic state? It really was you. Kevin fumed. You got AIDS, deliberately infected me, then intentionally picked fights with me, manipulated me into going to Jessie, and then used that as leverage to make me leave with nothing. Grace, how could you be so wicked? I shot back, how am I wicked? Did I force you onto that bed? Did I force you to sleep with her? Did I force you to send those videos and pictures of yourselves? Didn't Jessie deliberately send those to me? Kevin froze. He turned to look at Jessie. You sent them? Why would you send those to her? Jessie felt guilty and didn't dare answer him. She just kept trying to change the subject. What's the point of talking about that now? We're sick. We're dying. It's incurable. The culprit is right in front of me now. You need to make her spit out the money so we can get treatment. Culprit? I curled my lips into a knowing smile. I took my negative test results from my bag. I'm negative. Kevin, the one with AIDS is Jessie. The air in the hospital room Faye. LL silent. Jessie looked incredulous, shaking her head in denial. No. Impossible. How could it be me? Why not? I watched her, smiling. Think hard, are you absolutely certain it wasn't you? Her head dropped, and her eyes darted frantically. Suddenly, Jessie seemed to remember something and lunged at me. How do you know it's me who has AIDS? The medical report. It showed up in your last checkup, didn't it? You deliberately didn't tell me. You bitch. I stepped back to the hospital room door. Jessie had an 4 drip in her hand, so she couldn't move freely. After falling from the bed to the floor, she buried her face in her hands and began to cry bitterly. Kevin looked dazed, then turned to me, his face filled with grief and despair. You knew all along. Why didn't you tell me? Why? You're so cruel. You knew she had AIDS, yet you stood by and watched me walk straight into that disaster. I calmly watched Kevin's meltdown. Only after he finished his tearful accusations did I respond calmly. You said she was just your closest female friend. I never imagined you'd sleep with her. That single sentence broke Kevin even further. He was reaping what he sowed. He couldn't help but start crying again. A man nearing 30, crying helplessly. Not sure what he was thinking, Kevin suddenly lifted his head, a glimmer of hope in his eyes. Grace, please save me. I know you have money. Can you give me some for my treatment? Just pity me. I don't want to die. I want to live. With that, Kevin knelt on the hospital bed, bowing his head repeatedly towards me from across the room, almost prostrating himself. I was instantly fed up. I had no desire to stay and watch. I turned and left. Grace! Kevin panicked. He pulled out his 4-needle and chased after me. As he passed Jessie, she grabbed his leg. You can't leave. You can't go to her. What about me if you leave? Kevin! We're dying, and we're dying together. Kevin gritted his teeth. He frantically tried to push J.E. Sigh away. Get lost. Get out of here. If you want to die, go die by yourself. Don't drag me down with you. But clung to him like a drowning person clutching at a lifeline, refusing to let go for anything. Finally, in his desperation, Kevin started kicking and hitting her. Jessie had a temper too. She wouldn't be outdone and immediately hit back, swearing and yelling. The two of them devolved into a brawl right outside the hospital room door. As for me, I had already left. On my way back, Kevin kept calling me. He cried about his misery and angrily accused me of being cold-hearted. But was I truly cold-hearted? From the moment I discovered Jesse had AIDS, I'd warned him numerous times, both subtly and directly, but seemed possessed, stubbornly refusing to trust me. I spoke up repeatedly, but Kevin deflected me with various excuses every time, until he slept with Jesse. Beyond saving, it was no use. Perhaps it was fate, letting Kevin go through this ordeal. Thankfully, I was unscathed. Kevin called again to vent his anger. Grace, you think you'll be better off if I die? A wicked woman like you deserves to go to hell. Even as a ghost, I'll never let you go. If only you had told me Jesse was sick back then, none of this would be happening now. I countered, didn't I warn you? You refused to listen to reason. Kevin, you reap what you sow. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments. Feel free to share your perspectives, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.